Coming up on show 778, a brand new electric Kia SUV will give you Porsche pace for Peugeot money. Stick around and I'll tell you more. Right, on the show today, all-electric Audi e-trons and Peugeot 208 GTIs. An update on the BYD story coming to Europe. Also, electric cars get the spotlight in China for their recovery post-virus. Samsung and Hyundai confirm talks, and how one Tesla owner locked a thief inside his Model 3. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're listening in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily, the edition for Thursday, 14th of May. My name is Martyn Lee, going through every EV story so you don't have to. This headline story today then, Kia has confirmed it will launch an all-electric crossover SUV next year in 2021, and it's going to be based on a concept that we've seen already. Now, the Imagine concept was first showed at the 2019 Geneva Motor Show. Internally, they've been calling it the Kia CV, and it will act as the brand's halo model. This is, I think, the first next-generation Kia that's coming based on a whole new platform. According to AutoExpress, they say it will be the first production vehicle built on Hyundai Group's brand new E-GMP, or what we'll call E-GMP, the E-GMP dedicated electric underpinning. The crossover SUV will take advantage of Kia's recent tie-up, their recent collaboration, that they're working with the electric experts Rimac. Now, we know that the guy behind that, Martyn Rimac, is able to make incredibly fast electric cars. And so, Kia are saying that incredible performance will rub off on Kia, and it'll trickle down to the other mainstream models as well. How incredible will it be? Well, we know the new SUV coming next year, codenamed CV, will have 300 miles of range. So far, that's not incredible, but it will recharge in 20 minutes. Now, you have to understand, if you're new to the podcast, or just a reminder, that when a lot of these car companies give you recharge times, what they're often quoting, maybe in the small print, maybe with an asterisk, maybe they don't say it, but I think they mean it, is either 10 to 80 or 0 to 80%. So when they say this new Kia is going to recharge in 20 minutes, I'm going to speculate they mean 10 to 80% state of charge. Sometimes they mean 20 to 80. But I think it's safe to say they're not talking about 100%. And that is only achievable if you are talking about a decent-sized battery pack that's going to get you 300 miles. It's that 70 or 80 kilowatt hours, right? That is going to be recharging in 20 minutes, not achievable with current technology. Therefore, the prediction is, yes, Kia are finally unveiling and rolling out their 800-volt battery pack architecture, just as Porsche have done with the Taycan, and you never know, just as Tesla may well announce their battery day at the end of the month. That way, by going from 400 to 800 volts, it does allow you to be, in a way, future-proof. It's not the answer to everything, otherwise everyone would do it. But we do know the new platform from the Hyundais and Kias next year, they do move to 800 volts. They're going to make the most of the new 350 kilowatt chargers that are out there on Electrify America and on the Ionity networks and more here in Europe. So there's not many of them around at the minute, but there will be. And if you've got a car that can take a good amount of juice, and bearing in mind the Taycan, I think, can still only do about 270 kilowatts of charge speed pending a software update, which is still crazy fast. I'm not like, God, only 270. Come on, Porsche. That's still bonkers fast. However, up there with the latest charge speeds from the Tesla's Supercharger V3, if you can get those kind of charge speeds in your everyday Kia, well, now you're talking. Because we know Kia, not being a premium brand, have to sell their cars at the right price point to appeal to their fan base. The E-GT is going to deliver, say Kia, 0 to 62 miles an hour, less than 3 seconds. And that, my friends, is the incredible bit of this story. A car that Kia sells, and they can be top of the range if you like, but it's still not going to be crazy money because it's going to be a Kia. Less than 3 seconds, 0 to 60. And yes, 0 to 60 times are a bit of the, EVs can be a bit of a one-trick pony. Tesla have proven that yes, you can go in a straight line very, very quickly and smash drag records and all that kind of stuff. But still, it counts. It still counts. And I'd still take a Kia, by the way, the E-GT, that can do 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds. Wowzers. Amazing news. We'll watch that story. And I'll pop a link to AutoExpress in the show notes if you'd like to find out more. One of my previous cars was a 2000 plate Audi TT. Had it in deep blue. Loved it. 1.8 turbo engine. At the time, way before EVs, I was interested in that. It was my favourite car I've ever owned. It was the single exhaust pipe one, just fantastic. Loved it. Different time and place in my life. Couldn't have one now. It wouldn't have suited the family life. It wouldn't have got a push chair or a buggy in the back very well. Nice big hatchback on the TT. I love it. It's such a soft spot, man. I look at the pictures of that car. I love it. I have a point of telling you this story because in a couple of years' time, the reborn TT will be filling a sporty niche in Audi's lineup, rapidly embracing electrification as all car companies are, and the Volkswagen Group with Audi are pretty much leading that in Europe at the moment. I'm sure other car makers would disagree with that statement. Like the gas-powered TT, the electric TT does use a common VW platform. Yes, the MEB platform that is being made available to the brand cars within VW. Audi e-tron TT, reckon it'd be called? Maybe the Audi TT e-tron. It's got a good ring to it, right? It's going to lean on the styling, performance and high-tech interior that the Audi TT has always had, but with the software platform, the software architecture that comes with the MEB platform. According to Motor Trend, we can expect the Audi TT e-tron to be four-wheel drive. Of course, it's Audi. The word quattro comes to mind, and that does mean all-wheel drive. And obviously, it's a TT. You've got to make a convertible. You have to. Even if it's not the first one. I owned the coupe, by the way. I didn't have the soft top. But if you're going to make a ragtop version of any car, make it an electric TT. Oh, yes. Given the cost of EV batteries, it's not going to be a cheap car, obviously, but, you know, the price could climb from like $46,000 today to maybe $50,000. But still, that would be a very attractive electric sports car to have in your driveway, right? Fingers crossed that it sticks to plan and does come out by 2023. And a cheaper car than that would be a Peugeot 208, but the Peugeot 208 GTI. Look, there's a lot of people I know have a real soft spot as well for small, fast, French sporty cars, and Peugeot 208 GTI pretty much defines that role. Bosses in Paris are adamant they will keep the sporting GTI name alive, but with these days and increasing emission standards, how do you do it? Well, you use battery power. The corporate fines for any company going over their CO2 emissions targets are just huge, so it's not worth even thinking about doing it with burning stuff, says Phil McNamara, the editor-in-chief of Car Magazine. In the new June 2020 issue of the mag, Jean-Philippe Imparato, the executive vice president of Peugeot, said, and I quote, "GTI is nonsense for me. There is one way to say it simply: Peugeot Sport, and that means high performance, low emissions, new sensations. If we offer a B segment car, it will be full electric EV." Nice. I love it. We will decide by the end of 2020, more or less, he says. The Peugeot Sport sub-brand will be all electrified. So whatever that's going to be, whether it's a plug-in hybrid or full electric, the 508, the 3008, the 5008 and sport versions of those hitting dealers won't be long until the first official Peugeot sport car is revealed. That is going to be a 300 brake horsepower, all-wheel drive 508 Peugeot Sport. How much electrification will they be able to use? Well, we'll wait and see. But we hope a lot, at least plug-in hybrids and hopefully full electric versions as well. I would love that. An update on a story I told you about recently. BYD are coming to Europe. Chinese manufacturer BYD. Of course, they have a base in California. It did make me smile when I saw all of the, let's say, Twitter hoo-ha, which I stayed well out of, by the way. But the Twitter hoo-ha, when Elon Musk went on Twitter to say he's pulling the headquarters out of California, moving Tesla's headquarters to Texas, and he's fed up with the state, and it's the last car maker. They're gone. They're leaving California. I did happen to think, BYD is pretty big in California, but doesn't matter, Elon, you go with that. BYD, of course, in Europe are going to be selling their cars here a few days after announcing their European entry into the electric passenger car market through Norway to begin with. BYD has arranged the distribution. It's going to be RSA. RSA will be the sole distributor of BYD's EVs in Norway. They'll look after servicing and parts as well, which is a really big deal, actually. If I'm going to buy a car make that I know that there's not a garage locally. Same goes for Tesla. Like, my nearest Tesla is Bristol or London. I'm Dorset. Both of those are 2 hours away. It's fine. I factor it into the thought process, and we've talked about, do we buy, it wouldn't be a Model 3, but maybe when Model Y comes out, we're going to need a little more room, family room in the car. We've looked at that possibility on the medium-term horizon, and that factors in. In fact, if it breaks down, I'm not near a service. I'm 2 hours away from a service centre. Well, if you're buying a Chinese car, you need to think about where's it going to be serviced and even fixed. And now in Norway, we know the answer. According to Electrive, the agreement includes the sales of EV vans and even BYD trucks that are EVs. Models include the BYD Tang electric SUV, first one coming to Europe, and very exciting as well. The BYD Tang will be followed up by a 7.5-ton truck and a 19-ton truck and yard tractor. So, let's go to China next. As China recovers from the impact of coronavirus, one of the worst ones to be hit first, and the first ones to come out of it as well, the other side of it, making sure their plans for electric vehicles stay on track is a priority, says CNBC. Over the last few weeks, EV subsidies and tax breaks that were set to expire this year have now been extended. They're going to go through to 2022. They got a 2-year extension, by the way. Battery charging infrastructure, often cited by some as a reason they're worried about buying an EV because they can't charge it. That's a legitimate concern. I always do push back a little on that and say, well, look, most EVs are charged at home, and you'd be surprised how little you drive your car. I mean, people drive EVs more than normal cars, but still people overestimate how much they need to charge. However, in China, the charging network getting an injection of 2.7 billion yuan. That allows for a 10-fold increase in scale versus 2019, according to state media. China also aims to increase the share of EVs in the market. Over the next 5 years, they want to get it from 5 to 25%. Do not underestimate the power of when a country like China says, we will do this, because say what you want about the governance, and we're not going to get into that right now, but it is an environment which, when the party says, we will do this, there is no arguing. You will do this. If they're going to 25%, they'll probably do that over the next 5 years, actually. That is going to mean a lot of EVs on the road. I don't know the actual number of EVs they'll need to get to. Looking at, I guess, you could look at total car sales, total passenger car sales, and then do the numbers. I'll look into that. Be interesting. How many EVs have to be sold in China in 2025 to hit that 25% figure? Well, the top bosses of Samsung and Hyundai have met to discuss a potential collaboration with EVs. The companies just confirmed. And according to ZDNet, the two parties discussed next-generation battery technology and shared their respective R&D status and progress in that area. According to Hyundai and Samsung, a statement said from a spokesperson, they're all solid-state batteries that Samsung recently announced could be used between the two groups in cars. Samsung SDI currently doesn't supply car batteries to Hyundai. They get most of their cells from the Korean makers, so LG Chem and SK. I think that's Hyundai Group, I suppose, get from both of those. If you're buying a Hyundai Kona, your cells are going to be LG Chem cells. You get a Kia e-Niro, they're going to be SK cells. Same battery packs, by the way, but different cells inside and even different chemistries. I think it's different chemistry. So you see a lot of people saying, the battery packs are the same in the Kona and the e-Niro. Very different, by the way. But anyway, that's a sidetrack. Volkswagen's MEB platform has been analysed by the brilliant website Push EVs. I like to read Pedro's stuff because he's a real battery guy as well. Done a deep dive into them. He's actually listed out all the battery cells that are going to be used to begin with. They're LG Chem cells going into the first VWs, like the ID3, the ID4, etc., the Skoda. I don't know whether they'll still be in things like the Audi TT in a couple of years' time, but for now, they start with LG Chem cells. They are 3.65 volts a cell, 78 amp hours. They weigh about a gram each, and they are the NCM 712 chemistry. The Volkswagen ID4, which we think is the Model Y competitor, they won't be renamed ID5, and its sibling, the Skoda Enyaq iV, and I'd probably add the Audi Q4 e-tron to that list as well, maybe, will be available with 3 different battery packs. Now, it's worth saying that the base level ID3 which is coming out, has a smaller pack than all of these. The base level ID3 is a 52 kilowatt hour pack, 48 usable. But with all the others, onwards from the ID4, the 3-pack size is going to be 55, which is 52 usable, 62, which is 58 usable, and 82, which is 77 usable. Now, that big battery pack, by the way, is how they get their headline figure charging speed. They say that, the Volkswagens are going to charge at 150 kilowatts. Well, yes and no as well. It depends on the battery pack size. It's something that they don't really like talking about because it's sort of a negative, isn't it, I guess? Because actually, if you get a VW with the smallest battery pack size, you can only charge at 50 kilowatts. And really, a new EV these days, you've got to say that is a little bit less than optimal. I wouldn't say dropping the ball, but if you get the base pack size of the ID4 or the Skoda, it's going to be the 55 kilowatt hour pack only charges at 50 kilowatts. Could be alright for some, could be enough for many, but also you need the big battery pack, you need the extra cells in there to be able to take all the juice that you throw at it. So it's only the biggest pack, the 82 kilowatt hour pack, that'll take 150 kilowatt charge speeds, even though those are the speeds which they'll put in the headlines on the website. They'll say up to and all that kind of stuff. So just bear that one in mind. Active liquid cooling, obviously. They've done it right. VW have done a really great job with their platform. They're using the battery cells from LG in Poland. And it's a wise move, says Push EVs. Not only are LG Chem great battery cell makers, they have good cells available, and they are reasonably nearby in Poland. I'll pop a link to the website in the show notes if you want to read more about their battery plans. Here in the UK, Western Power revealed their updated EV strategy, outlining pleasures to support pleasures and measures to support the rollout of EVs, says Current News. Now, Western Power is a DNO. They supply the power to your house, but you might not necessarily pay the bill to them. Other electricity companies can be your provider, but who actually looks after getting that power to your fuse box with all of the infrastructure necessary? Well, it's a patchwork of companies around this country, but in the southwest and other places it's called Western Power, and they've been telling us their EV plans. They're working with a service station group called Moto to trial motorway service installations for rapid charges using all new technology that requires a lot less space than the existing technology for putting rapids in. They are also expecting to standardise things like 3-phase service cables and a specification for transformer deployments, the big stuff that makes EV charging possible that you and I don't tend to think about too much. It's the really high level, high power stuff as well. They also want to work with fleet electrification. In other words, working with those companies that are going to have tens or hundreds of EVs, things like depot charging, requiring a really big electricity supply. I mean, that's a big fat pipe coming off the grid and going into a depot where hundreds of EVs get charged. I'm thinking those companies that deliver for Amazon and stuff like that. Right, final story. And a Tesla owner has remotely saved the day with his app. An article, which I'll read you the article first and then we'll just sort of not pull it apart, but just clarify it. It says, I quote, a Tesla owner helped Barstow police make an arrest after using the remote start function to lock a carjacking suspect inside the vehicle. The local news is called Victor Valley News. They write, the suspect made the victim get out of his vehicle and then attempted to steal it. The victim stated he was able to use his cell phone to turn off the vehicle's engine and lock the subject inside the car. Arriving officers located him in the driver's seat and placed him under arrest. Well, that's the story. Well, a couple of things in there. There's no remote start function for Tesla on the app. You can't make the car, you can't start the engine, as it were, if the thief was inside it. But I know what they mean by that. A few things wrong with the story. There's no engine, right? But this local newspaper or whatever the local website calls it an engine. But we get that. But also, you can't turn it off from the app. You can't. It's not like Knight Rider. But this is what I think there was just a lost in translation thing. The car, it's a Model 3, by the way. The car does need the mobile phone inside it to drive. If your phone runs out of battery or airplane mode or your car gets stolen and carjacked and you are kicked out of the car with your mobile phone, the car will drive until it's put into park. So what may have happened here is the thief may have put the car into park, tried to drive off again, and then without the phone in the car, he's going nowhere. You can lock the doors from the app, but you can't permanently lock someone inside and trap them like a jail until the police arrives. Can you still disable the handle pull on all Teslas? It was just Model S, but I don't know, I'm not a Tesla owner, but deep inside the menu, can you disable handle pull on the doors? So again, the owner may well have locked the doors on the app. If that was turned on, if the suspect couldn't find the emergency door release button, they would indeed have been, and I'm doing air quotes here, locked inside the car. But a bit of quick thinking, and good news is police able to catch up and return the vehicle to the owner. A bit of good news to end the... I say good news to end the podcast. It's all good news on this podcast. It's always positive stories. There's never any bad news on this show. Let's get on to question of the week then. And I'm hearing from you, and we'll read out your answers on Sunday. What's your favourite charging app? And what's your favourite route planner? Maybe it's the same thing combined. Is it a mobile phone app, a website? What's your favourite app and route planner? Tell me why, and I'll pass them on Sunday's show. My email address is hello@evnewsdaily.com, or you can leave a comment in the show notes. Thank you to 230 patrons of the podcast. These fine, generous people and companies fund this show, and it means that you get to listen for free. By no means do you have to check out Patreon, but if you are curious, thinking about what's it all about, patreon.com/evnewsdaily is the website, and it's entirely optional, but, feel free. Patreon partners, premium partners, Phil Roberts of Electric Future, Brad Crosby, Avid Technology, Brightsmith Group for clean tech talent, Porsche of the Village, Cincinnati, and Audi of Cincinnati East. If you can ever leave a review on Apple Podcasts, by the way, or any platform that takes reviews, not all of them do, but if you use Apple Podcasts, any little review, whether it's, a couple of words or a bloomin' paragraph, anything that you can do on there helps grow the show. Other people see what you've written, they try it, hopefully they like it, they pass it on, they recommend it, and that's how we spread the word about EVs. If you want to say hi on any of my social platforms, search EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow. And remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.